turning off notifications. All right. Whew. All right. That was stressful. I love
Yeah.
StreamYard. We can do a promotion for StreamYard right now.
Yeah, I use well, Riverside does it through all that, so but yeah, we are up, we're live. Cool. Hopefully people can see it. So,
All right.
yeah,
Greetings, man. How you doing?
good. Glad we finally jumped on one of these episodes.
You had a good fourth. Lots of
Oh yeah.
explosions. No missing fingers. Everything's good.
It's all good. Yeah, I actually worked a lot. I had my kids, which was fun, so we got to watch the fireworks and stuff. So it was a good time. Good fourth.
Now,
How about you?
do you do
Yeah.
like the Bob's Burgers? Do you like have your kids working in the restaurant, or we can't talk about that?
No. I do a little bit. My oldest is actually able to work. She's 14, so she was hosting for a little
Okay.
bit, but then she just didn't really want to. And I wasn't gonna force her to work. So
See, these millennial kids, they're
it's
having options
crazy.
of not working
I
and
know, but yeah, well, no,
having
she
voices in the family. Yeah.
yeah, no, she
What
works.
is this?
She got another job down with her mom, like in the next town over, down with her mom somewhere. So she's working, and then my youngest loves to like run food and roll napkins, stuff like that. So they both help out, but yeah, so it's fun.
Rolling napkins and doing soap. You
Well,
tricked her. You did
well,
the
right. She's only 11, so she's excited.
Okay.
We don't want her to do like run food and then trip or something like that, or take tables.
All right, that
Obviously,
builds
but
character. It's
yeah,
okay. Let it happen. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm a restaurant baby, so I started at an early age, working in restaurants and cafeterias. So
yeah.
yeah.
It's a tough business, that's for sure.
Yes, but I also still say it's free money. Once you kind of know the language of how a restaurant works, you can kind of be in your own element and just be yourself, and it's easy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like once you
Once you get it
know
down, yeah.
how kitchens work, once
Yep.
you know the lingo, once you understand when everyone's in the weeds how to keep calm, it's the easiest job in the world after that.
Yeah. 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 So how have you been doing? You're over in Germany.
Yes.
Let's well, thank you guys for watching another episode of Daddy Issues, first off. And Jason, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself and kind of let them know where you're at, what you're doing, and talk a little bit about your story if you want.
All right, let's get it started. My
Cool.
name is Jason Washington. I'm from Langston, Oklahoma, but I've been here in pretty much Berlin, Germany for the last 10 years. People are saying that there's no audio.
There's no audio. I do not know how to fix that issue because there's audio on my side, your side.
Mm-hmm.
Bluetooth. That's weird.
Let me write her a message real quick and see if she can hear anything or if it's maybe something on her side.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, StreamYard, you're amazing. You don't do anything wrong. Is it working now? Oh, actually, it might be my fault. It might be the message that I sent her. She can't hear anything.
Okay, yeah.
That's what.
Because I can hear us on the live now, so.
Got you.
Yeah.
One second. Let me just. Okay, that's my fault completely. Okay, and here we go. Sorry about that. Let's do that.
Okay.
Now I'm ready. From Oklahoma, and I've been here in Germany for 10 years now, and pretty much been a traveling restaurant worker, bartender, event promoter, all that silly stuff for my entire career.
Yeah. When did sorry, I'm posting the link on Facebook as well. When did you get out of the restaurant
we're
business?
men. We suck at multitasking.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah. When did you get out of the business, or why did you get out?
Right before the pandemic. Like I said, it was during the time I had to make a choice. I felt that me and my ex, we had just had our second child, my son, and I felt that the relationship was going the wrong path. And I felt that working in a bar and working in restaurants was not going to help get us on the path that we needed to be. I told her, we love each other, but we don't like each other. And with me being a black man in Germany, everyone knows the story, or they think we're cheaters and everything. And I was getting flirted with a lot by, women in the bar, and me and my ex were not seeing eye to eye. And I was like, I'm not going to introduce cheating into this equation.
Yeah.
So I just said, let me just stop working. We had just moved into a house, and let me kind of focus on getting the house right. And then once we finish that, then I can go back to bartending and working, no problem. But so I had stopped working to kind of save the relationship, I feel.
And this was all still in Oklahoma?
No, this is all here in
Oh, in
Berlin. I've been
Germany.
here for 10 years now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My son is just 5. My daughter is 7.
Okay.
So my kids are here in Germany.
What was the point? What was the breaking point of like you and your ex? Like, what made it be like, okay, we're done. This is it.
Um, I think I'm very blessed to know how to deal with women's tempers. And I've had angry women before. I usually know how to calm them down or make them laugh or turn the tables. But with my ex, she had hit me a few times in the relationship. And I always expressed to her, like, hey, once again, this black man, white woman, if I ever hit you back, we know how this story goes.
Yeah.
You're playing with my fatherhood. If I hit you back, and she was like, I never call the police. Like, it doesn't matter. Your family might. If I ever hit you back, I'm deported. I'm not going to see my children again. And it was first thing in the morning, and she was yelling about me putting eggshells in the wrong container because I'm American. I don't recycle. And she got mad. And again, this is post, and she hit me in the face. And for the first time, I almost hit her back, but I got like this vision of my daughter, who's 3, coming out the room and seeing me standing over her mom, bloody. And I was like, okay, no, this will not. I have to go. As much as I loved my ex, I couldn't trust her with her temper to take care of my fatherhood. She kept putting me in positions that would have jeopardized it, I feel. So I just said, I have to leave.
Yeah. And she's born and raised in Germany? Your ex? Right. So,
yes.
I mean, that's a huge concern because, yeah, if anything happens, it's like you go back home and then you don't see your kids anymore. That's a huge concern.
Yeah, I was warned by many military men about if a breakup happens, like if you go back to America, you're not seeing your kids.
Right.
There's no kind of ways that the U.S. government has any kind of jurisdiction over a German woman's and how she mothers and how she lets you see the kids. There's nothing.
Yeah.
So
now, do your kids?
I was always warned.
Do they have
dual
citizenship?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, not dual yet, because they would have to live in America for 2 years.
Gotcha.
So they have the option when they're teenagers, but I actually don't. I used to believe that it was important for the kids to come back to America, but actually I really don't anymore.
Yeah.
It's a different world over here, and it's one of the things that's kind of unfortunate. The Black community here, the German Black community, it's super positive. And one of the things about the Black community that is unfortunate in America is that it's not really great for your self-esteem. The Black experience is not a healthy experience. And a lot of things that you deal with in America, whether you want to say it's police or whatever, but a lot of the problems you'll have is with your own culture. And I don't know if I want to subject my children to trying to maintain their image to Black Americans. I think they'll always be having to prove themselves in a way that's not healthy. Yeah. So I think, yeah, sure, I'll have them visit Oklahoma because I'm native and I want them to kind of embrace that part of the culture. But as far as them needing to have dual citizenship, it's not important. Really, it isn't to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So how are things now with you and your ex? Are you guys on good terms, talking terms, and how's all that going?
We are on great terms, actually. Yeah. We co-parent very well. People ask us on advice on how to co-parent. I think it's one of those things where globally, most people don't grow old with the person they had children with. So it's very important, because I had the conversation with her, like, more than likely, this is going to happen to my son one day. More than likely, maybe Jelani's going to end up breaking up with the person who gives her children. So we have to form the foundation of how to behave so that my son knows, if he's in a relationship and it's bad and he needs to leave, and he knows uh, how to act and cooperate after a breakup. And that's one of the things that I think many people and many of us we don't have. There's not many examples of how to cooperate in a not a passive aggressive way, where everyone's like trying to walk on eggshells and everyone's scared to communicate. We need more examples of healthy co-parenting and where people are allowed to be themselves. And I really do believe that it's strange, but I get to be the father that I really want to be versus sometimes being with my ex and I have to be the father that she thinks I need to be, if
Yeah.
that makes sense, where I'm on eggshells and I want to, now that we're broken up, I can pour in art and music and make sure that I bring my kids home to her every day tired, which she loves because she's a kinder teacher. So it's very difficult for her to go from teaching kids all day to then
Right.
having my two kids. And it's like she needs that break. So she learned that, okay, it's beneficial for me to be here because I pick them up first thing in the morning, take them to school so she doesn't have to get up first thing in the morning at 7 to take them to school and then go to her job at 9. She can kind of relax. And then I'll pick my kids up and she can kind of unwind after work and then, get dinner ready or whatever. And then I bring her the kids and it's easy peasy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how co-parenting, like healthy co-parenting can go so well. Not only is it beneficial for you, but it's beneficial for the kids. And just like you said, your son watching a healthy relationship and your daughter, when they see their parents getting along, and even if they're not married, it's like, they take all of that in. They're sponges, and it's like they will
Yes.
have and know what a healthy relationship is and know how to treat one and know how to deal with one and know how to even get into a fight and get over it, and deal with all of that growing up when they see it. So that's huge.
It's what we as fathers and mothers have to do because I'm always about looking at the bigger picture. 30 years
Yeah.
from now, it's going to be even crazier. And so most people are not going to be making it to the end of their days with the person they have children with. That's just the truth.
Isn't that
So
crazy?
it's
Yeah.
on us. It's crazy, yes, but I think it's always kind of been that way. I don't think that men and women have spent the amount of time they've spent with each other that we try to do today. Like, I don't think that in the past men were up or in the house with women all day like we are now. Like, men will have their
Right.
code, they'll have their man cave, but that irritates women. It does naturally. And I don't
Yeah.
think that men and women are supposed to be under the roof as much as we are trying to do these days.
Yeah.
I really don't. I just don't. I think naturally you're going to get so irritated with each other that it's better to. My papa always said, if you have a house and she has a house and you both have the property, that's perfect. Where you as a man can have your house and she can come when she wants to come, but you kind of keep it as your little thing. And you can go over to her and see her. But when you're in the same house in shouting distance, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
If you're in shouting distance of a woman's, hey, I need this, it's a problem. You
Yeah.
need
No,
to
I
have a
mean
little
that
bit of distance.
it makes so much sense. It's just so alien to us. You know what I mean? To think that way, be like, oh, I'm still gonna have my house and you have your house, and we'll meet up in the middle or whatever. But
But
it
again,
makes
but if you're
sense.
but if you're thinking of the big picture of how do we make it to be 90 years old
Right.
each without hating each other? Like, that's got, when people say like what kind of man you want to marry or what kind of, like, who is the person I can make it to 90 years old with and still be happy? And then
Yeah.
what do I need to do to maintain that? Does that mean we got to spend a little bit less time with each other? Probably. Does that mean maybe I need to rethink how I feel about women sexually? Meaning, like, when I'm 55 and my sexual drive is not where it needs to be, but she's 50 and went through menopause, and all of a sudden now her sexual drive has gone through the roof. I don't want to start taking a bunch of medicine and pills to try to get a hard dick. So does that mean maybe I need to be open to the fact to just let her have some fun while my libido is completely gone? Like, I think we have to really rethink um, relationships so that they can actually reach the end of days.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one. That'd be a tough one just because it's like it's the
Well,
norm.
I
You
mean,
know what
let's
I mean?
ask
But
you. Let's say when you're 55 and you lost your libido, but
right.
your wife's libido is sky high. What do you do? Do you think you should be taking boner pills to give yourself a heart attack, or do you say, okay, well, you love me, you shouldn't embrace that sexual nature that you have anymore because you love me? Or are you just realistic and say, go get some sex? I just want to be happy at the end of this.
Right. No, it's
Like,
tough because for me, when I look at it, it's like women are much more emotional. So, like, sex to them means something a little bit more than it does to a guy. A guy can have sex and it is what it is. But the way I look at it is like a woman, it's more intimate. It means something more. So if she's, off having sex, and I 100% get what you're saying, but if she's off having
mhm.
sex, and is she gonna feel some type of way with the guy she's having sex with? Is this like a one-time thing, or are they eventually gonna be get into a relationship, and then now you and her are done because you're letting her kind of do her thing?
Women are water. If I found in my relationships in the past, I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I want to have all these open relationships. But I've
Yeah.
always said, like, if you want to do what you want to do. Like, I don't care. But once I'm done with you, I have the right to be done with you. I mean, if you want to be done with me, you have the right to be done with me. But if we're old and the woman truly loves me and she has the goal to grow old with me and she wants to go have some sex, that guy just wants to rent her.
Right.
That guy
Right.
maybe just wants to borrow her. He doesn't want to take on the responsibility and really, like, you know, clip her toenails when she's so.
Right.
If a woman knows that I'm there for that, and she's going to do the same thing for me, she's going to be popping my little liverwort to my back one day. If that's the goal, then I think the sex is not important to me. Maybe I'm sexually autistic. I've never been so wound up with, oh, this is my pussy. It's not my pussy. Stop.
Right.
Not, all that crazy dirty talk you do. Like, whose pussy is it?
Right.
I'm
Right.
always in my head like, it's not mine, you little liar. But that's always how I looked at it as a bartender. I've always seen older people having these issues, and the people who I found who have really made the lifelong connections were the people who a little bit psychedelic takers, but also understood the bigger picture that is cosmic. I want to see you, in this afterlife. So all this other stuff that we do on Earth is not important. Our spirits are, and our humor and we're intertwined. The children we made, or the like, all of that is what twines us. The sex is just sex and pleasure on this earth.
Right. So yeah, I mean, we had some guy come on a couple weeks back, and he was talking about like polygamy, and then just like
Yeah, I
all these
saw
things. I
that.
mean, yeah, and he's young. So to
Yeah,
me, he was just, I mean, his relationship was just gonna go downhill, it seemed like,
it
with
it
what they were
is.
doing.
Polygamy is that's too much responsibility. A lot of men think they want polygamy. You don't.
Yeah.
Because polygamy is maintaining. You are working yourself into a heart attack trying to maintain a polygamous relationship. My mentality is just go do what you want to do. I
Do what makes
don't
you happy.
care.
Yeah.
Now, if you need to go away from me and be completely away, then by all means, go do that. But I really believe that, again, the goal we have to start doing is, especially with the way the climate's going with finances, like, who can I grow old with? I'm even going to tell my son, like, don't have a child out of love. Have a child with the woman that's not going to give you any issues if you after the breakup, meaning that she's not going to ever play with your fatherhood. She's not going to ever do any kind of child alienation with you. And she's
Right.
not going to expect any type of finances from you after the fact. If the breakup happens, when the kids are with you, you spend your money on the children. When the kids are with her, she spends her money on the children. That's as logically as it has to be. And I think we have to start having conversations with our children, and even as men, start betting who our children are dating and having conversations with that side of the family. That's what a lot of people are so afraid to do. They don't have these connections, and then when the breakup happens, they need big daddy government to help them make adult decisions. It's like, no, didn't you meet that person's side of the family before you had the child?
See,
Okay,
that's
well, how
yeah.
come? Yeah,
I
have you ever had these conversations before the breakup? And that's what I think is important.
Yeah, I think it's super important to meet the side of the family, see how they were raised and all of that, because you're never going to know when you're in love with someone or whatever. You're never going to know, are they going to screw me, down the road? You're always going to be like, of course they're not going to. So it can happen
But
with
that's why
anybody.
it's great to meet women who have had that happen to their fathers. Who there's a majority of women whose fathers, they don't know their fathers,
Right.
but there's also a small subsection of women who have seen their fathers hurt from what their mothers have done. And when those women get older, those will be the perfect wives
Right.
because they understand that a child just wants to spend time with their father. It's that simple. And all the extra micromanaging, well, he needs to send me money. No, no, not a child just wants to play sports with their father and
Yep.
hear messages from their father. All that stuff from the mother's side that's like, well, he needs to do this to see the kid. Like, no, don't ever use your children as a punishment. Like the father didn't do something. Well, now you can't see the kids. We have to kill that in our society. And I think the only way that'll ever happen is if there's like a huge global man strike where
Right.
men of all colors say, forget racism. Let's get these father rules fixed first, and then we can go back to hating each other. But we need to figure out a way where men just stop working. The police stop working. Every man just stops working until some of these things globally are fixed for fathers.
Yeah. No, the system is it's terrible. And we've had a couple of people on breaking down child support, breaking it all down, and it's like, everybody's making money off of this except for the father. The father's just getting
The
beat
children.
down. And the children, right? The children don't make anything. Yeah.
It's insane how much money people spend on lawyers, right? Let's say hypothetically, I'm married to a woman and now it's time to divorce. Okay, well, I got to spend, let's say, $15,000 for a lawyer. And she's spending money like $15,000 on a lawyer for us to figure out how to see the children. Let's put that $30,000 in an escrow
100%.
and let it accumulate. So when the kids turn 18, now they have a set amount of money to do whatever they need to do. As logically, that would make so much more sense. But instead, we spend money on lawyers to have these fights because that's what society tells us we're supposed to do. It's stupid.
Right. But then again, too, women with child support and alimony, it's like not only do they, okay, I'm going to spend 15 grand, but now I'm going to get $2,000 a month from my ex because that's what he owes me or whatever it might be.
Well, he doesn't owe you. He doesn't owe you that. And
100%,
but this is again
that's how they think.
Yeah, but there's one thing too. Again, I was raised in Oklahoma, so they don't do that in their like when a native man divorces his wife. They don't have this issue at all. Like it's night and day. There is no type of alimony. There is no type of child support. The father gets this. It's all about the father spending time with the kids. And there's so many bad fathers that have happened in the past that now it's like, if you do that, you're doing better than most fathers. So let's start championing that, where it's like, if you don't have the finances, fine, but can you spend more time with the kids? And I would find that most fathers would absolutely love to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like, hey, I don't have the finances, but how about I just spend more time with the children? And I think a lot of women don't want to give that, whether it's for power, whether it's for whatever.
See, I think it's a power
that's
thing.
how they're. Yes, but it's also a power thing, but it's also a programming because society has told them that mama bear, that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And we have to rethink that because again, it's not helping the kids, it's not helping the fathers. We just had Men's Health Month. I promise you, from years of bartending, this is the one thing that destroys men the most. Them not having the relationship with their children that they really wish they had. And the women are not being accountable of how they have maybe self-sabotaged the relationship that the kids could have had with that father. And then they're mad that the father's not there. And it's like, it's very difficult for a father to pour in to a child that despises them. A lot of fathers just think, I'd rather just not be around because it's difficult to see that. It breaks your heart to see that. To see something that you loved and it doesn't want to talk to you, it doesn't want to know you, it doesn't want to be around you. That breaks men's hearts.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm seeing it firsthand right now with one of my friend's daughters and her dad. Their parents got divorced. Her dad kind of was like in and out, but she just never wants to see him. Like, is just always like, oh, I don't have a dad, blah, 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 blah. And now he's kind of showing up. He shows up to her graduation, shows up to her games, shows up to all these things, and you just see it. It's like she really is pushing him away. He's still coming back, but inside she's sad. Like, because I talked to her, I brought her to the father-daughter dances, and like, but inside she wants a dad, but she is so like just confused on the whole situation.
That's one of the mistakes that I think a lot of men make, and I think it was one of the greatest things that I did was not leaving the town where my kids are.
Yeah.
And I find that if you can make yourself an access an accessory, meaning if you can, like, I live right by my kids' school, and I also live right by where they'll be going to high school. So the place where I'm at, I'm always going to be a benefit because when they get off school, they can come to me. And I think as fathers, we got to start thinking that way. We have to start putting ourselves, if they're going to have a breakup or the breakup's not, let me get me an apartment that's going to be where my kids are going to school. That way, when I can, hey, I'm trying to help my ex out, and you can have the conversation with her. Hey, I'm doing things that are going to make things easier for you so you can have relaxing time. So I have no problem picking up the kids, and we don't have to do this whole thing going back and forth to court. We can do this in a way that makes your life happier so you can move on, so
Yeah.
I can move on. Because we both want each other to move on and have a happy life, not bitter. The breakup happens, it happens for most people that way globally. It's okay. Now, how do we move on? How do we show our children that we made these children out of love and we love them and we have love for each other? And when this happens to you in the future, this is how you behave. Because it's going to happen to them. It is.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
50% of marriages, end in divorce. So
More than that.
yeah.
On a global scale, more.
Right.
And the same things are happening over here on this side of the world too. And the people who are married, they're married because they don't want to lose their stuff or they're not happy. And I think that, again, that's why the goal has to be, who is the person that's going to make me happy at the end of my life? If it's not me, but we had children together, then thank you. I appreciate you giving me these children. I appreciate making these, and I'm going to always be doing everything to make your life a benefit. So, because if you're a happy mother, then you're a better mother to my children. And that's how we have to approach it. And women have to start thinking too that when you're a happy father, you're a better father. And I don't think that women have had that click yet. That they have this thing where it's like you have all these responsibilities, but it's like, are you happy? Well, they don't care about that so much. And I think we have to start having conversations about women and like, hey, if I'm a happy man, just like you're a happy woman, I'm a better father. So do some things that make me happy as far as not just human being things. And me as a father, I'll do the same thing. And I find that a lot of fathers are willing to be more empathetic than women are when it comes to after the breakup. But we gotta change it or it's gonna get worse.
Yeah. Now, do you think, I mean, I know there's a lot of factors that come with this, but it's like men getting married, is that kind of like, do you see that slowing down? Would that fix a lot of problems?
Well, again, most of us are born outside of marriage anyway.
Yeah.
So, and it'd be different if it was like, okay, if you marry this woman and you break up, you get more father rights. If you marry a woman and if you marry your children's mother and you break up, then you automatically get this. But there isn't. In fact, you actually get punished more.
Yeah.
So it actually is more beneficial for you to be a baby daddy versus marrying a woman and having a kid with her. Because if the divorce happens, holy moly, you get hit even worse. So that's one of the things where we have to switch. If you want it to be marriage, then you have to make it a benefit where it's like, okay, I just got this woman pregnant. If I marry her and we don't make it, then I at least get some sort of a severance versus me just being a baby daddy and not doing that.
Right.
So until that happens, no, the kid, I've seen what happens to my uncles when they got divorced. Kids are seeing what happened to their fathers so kids aren't wanting to get married. Kids aren't wanting to have kids because they've seen how it's destroyed us, which is all the plan of big elite anyway, because they want a population reduction. So that's why that's why this whole gender war thing is happening, because the big picture is they want less of us to have children, while people in other countries, third world countries, they want them to keep multiplying to keep the machine going.
Mm-hmm.
But first world countries, they want, that's why they're pushing everything where it's making everything confusing, where people are going to be afraid to have children. And having children is a blessing. You're bringing your elders from the beginning of time onto this planet. It is that simple and that serious, but we've convoluted it and made it into this strange capitalistic financial thing when it should be, oh my God, I brought back my grandfather. I brought back my
Right.
grandmother. I have reincarnated my lineage. Now, how do I grow this?
Yeah. If you could give some advice to some dads out there about fatherhood or just anything relationship wise in general, what would it be?
The ones who are already married or the ones that are who are
I would
on the other end?
probably already married because I feel like a lot of these dads are maybe still in it or they
Yeah.
had maybe just got divorced. But
Okay, for the fathers who are married, um, it's so much better to try to do this and make it with your child's mother. Only leave if you truly, truly have to, because your child benefits so much with you as a man in the house. Because I got lucky, but most fathers are not seeing their kids on a daily basis. And you would be well off to maybe eat some crow and rethink your philosophies if it's going to help you be in the house with the children. Because let's keep it real, when you signed that birth certificate, you signed a contract with the government and the mother. You, as a father, don't have many rights. You don't, especially in the American capitalist system. So a lot of people don't even read what they're signing when they're signing that birth certificate. You're signing over your rights. You've signed over your rights, and so that the government can do a lot of things to you that are damn near illegal. And so, again, stay married and rethink your life if you need to try to be in that child's life. And a lot of people will say, as a man, you shouldn't do that. But again, I don't. If you can't, then you got to remember that you made this family. And just because the breakup happens, don't fall into the bachelor mode of, well, now I'm 40. I'm going to find my youth again and see my kids every 2 weeks and start, hooking up with these younger women and start trying to feel good again. No, you started a family. Now, just because it didn't work with you and your wife, still, you started a family. So you're a family man, just not with that wife. So you need to do whatever you can to stay near those children, to stay in that city, to stay in that vicinity and be an attribute to the woman no matter what, because unfortunately, she has the power. And appeal to her side of the family and her men's side of the family, because that's where your allies are. She might have uncles or cousins or brothers who have gone through some horrible things from women. And if you can get those men on your side, you can at least have a cordial conversation. Bring the families together, because your mother has every right to be a grandmother. Your father has every right to be a grandfather. And many times, women will alienate you as the father and that entire side of the family.
yeah,
But if you have intertwined the families, all of it, then it's a lot harder for women to do that because they feel like a horrible person, because they promised your mother that they would never do this to her. They promised that they would never be this type of a woman. And her side of the family is also obligated to make sure to hold her accountable, to say, hey, why is that side of the family not seeing the kids? Why is he not seeing the kid? Is it because then her side of the family holds her accountable? And then, if we need to be, my side of the family can hold me accountable to say, hey, she needs some more money. You need to do that. Okay. And
right.
we have to figure out a way to leave the government out of this.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah, and
be
I feel
adults. We made these kids as adults. We made them as adults, and we break up. We do not need Big Daddy government telling us what to do, holding us by the ear.
absolutely. Yeah, I feel like a lot of dads too, when they do the breakup and they almost feel like you were saying, oh, I'm gonna go out party, get my youth back, and I'm cool with seeing my kids every 2 weeks, and that definitely is a problem. It's like, you're still a father no matter what happens. It's
Mhm.
like you can't just try to do what you want to do now that you're free. You're not in a relationship anymore, so there's still a lot to be done with the kids. And then even coming back to
Absolutely.
the marriage part, when you were like, just kind of stick it out and stay in there. It's like, is that prolonging the inevitable, or like, do you think therapy is a good thing for couples to kind of talk and because their anger is just going to build up, build up, build up until it explodes if they
Mhm.
don't kind of tell each other what's going on.
Well, again, this is why I'm a big proponent of mushrooms. I really do believe that, again, I'm Indian to my core. So I don't believe that feminist therapists help. And unfortunately, a lot of therapists have been kind of trained in this ideology that's not healthy. And so when you go to therapy, if you go to a college educated therapist type person, a lot of times they don't have the advice that's going to help you make it to the big picture. What you might need to do is go talk to a shaman. What you might need to do is go talk to some Native Americans on a reservation who are together, like people who are lower in capital and lower in the poorer the people are. I've always found they actually have better lifelong relationships.
Yep.
So it's like you need to get some advice from them, and those kind of women will have different kinds of conversations with the lady because first world country wise, they'll have, and the woman will be like, what does that have to do with anything about you're putting so much stress on the man to uphold all this bullshit, the Fight Club mentality. Just let that man be a man and let him love the children and live in minimalism. Minimalism is so much better for a family versus trying to keep up with the Joneses and have all this $100,000 put my
100%.
kids in private school life. No, get a damn camper van RV if you need to and just roam. Like you, your wife, and the children are the only thing that's important. It really it all that other stuff is not. All the things in your house, none of it means anything. You could have a fire and lose it all.
Yep.
What you need to do is make sure that your lineage, the one thing that you've actually created in this life and made, your children, are the ones that you're pouring into.
That is, yeah, that was spot on right there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If I had a
Like
shot, I
that.
would have took a shot after that.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah. Well, damn.
What
Thank you
about
so
you?
much, man.
Well, wait, before we finish it,
Yeah.
you always have these interviews and you don't get to drop any jewels. What would be one of the things you think that people need to focus on or work on to make it to the end of their lives together?
I mean, my biggest thing would be communication, and I mean, you kind of broke it down
More
perfectly.
communication or less?
I think more communication. I think
Ooh,
well, I think more honesty, honest communication,
okay.
because a lot of times, you kind of say what you want your wife to hear, or you say what you want your husband to hear, but you don't actually tell them your feelings. You don't actually tell them like, I don't want you talking to these people, or I don't want you doing this thing. Or for the wife, it's like, I want to go out and I want to do something like with my friends or whatever it might be, and you're kind of holding them back. If you're upset and you're angry about that, I think it's like, if you want your relationship to be healthy, you need to sit down and have that conversation with your wife. It's like me and my wife would fight, and we kind of were both hard headed and stubborn. We keep it kind of bottled up, and then we finally sat down and we were like, listen, when we're angry, we need to talk about it. And even today, I went into work and I was pissed off because like people weren't doing what they're supposed to do. So I come in and I'm cleaning shit and whatever, and I'm just angry and I'm frustrated. And she asked me a question, and I kind of was like angry, not angry at her, but gave her a little attitude. And then I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at the situation, but I'm just pissed. So don't take it the wrong way, whatever. And she was like, okay, thank you for saying that, because she thought I was mad at her. So I think that keeps the relationship when you're truthful and honest with the other person and tell them what's going on. I don't know.
No, that's really good. I've always said I thought less communication is needed to make the relationships last longer. But
Right.
I think you're spot on. I think it has to be more honest communication
Honest communication.
because you can sit with your lady all day and talk about nothing and watch TV with her, but that's not communicating. That's not
Right.
being. You're just spending time with each other
Yep.
in a very weird way. And I know we got to wrap this up, but we're having relationships with we're having open relationships anyway, but the person is our TVs and our screens. Like I got off home from work, she got off. Hey, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Okay, then you go do your thing, I go do my thing, and we're actually preoccupied with internet or television, and so we're not really preoccupied with each other. We're just kind of checking in, and then okay, I go to my game system, my TV, my sports, and she goes to her shopping and her whatever on Instagram. But we're not having these real authentic bonds. We're both distracted from
Right.
the matrix. So we're the first generation to actually have the matrix as an integral part of our relationships.
Yeah. I think that's actually kind of tearing relationships apart quicker.
1 second, I'm getting a phone call, I think, from my 1 second.
Okay, yeah. It's all good. You coming back? I think he's in the chat. Oh, hopefully the link still works. Oh, it's the older link. Can you resend the link? It's the first one you clicked on. Yeah, let me All right, I just sent it. Hopefully it works. Did that work? Did that link work? I think I'm in the room. Shoot. I think you might be in the other room now. Let me. Yeah, this is the second. So I think you're in the wrong. I think you're in the wrong link. I think I'm in the room. I just sent you a new one, so hopefully that works. If not, it's all good. Damn. All right, I think we lost them.